Hi everyone. So welcome to, I believe this is our 5th rendition of Hopscotch, and it's the notion of play. Hopscotch layered with meaning is infused with physicality, psychology, entertainment, and challenge. It's the multimedia exhibition that is grid with child's play. Hopscotch has a starting point, and it quickly diverges into various topics, including play, gender, mathematics, philosophy, literature, and of course art history. Extending across literature and all different cultures, continents, time, hopscotch imagery was discovered on painted greyware in ancient India, and also has been reported and been used in training for soldiers during the Roman times and Empire. And then the exhibition really evokes emotion, and it also conveys a sense of passing through geographical areas. So wherever you are, anyone can play hopscotch. We have such fond memories of hopscotch. And thank you for joining us. And we continue to keep hopscotching, and you're going to be meeting the artists in this amazing exhibition. Thank you.
Hello, so my name is Vina. I am a visual artist. I'm very glad to be part of these exhibitions and Hopscotch and the sense of play. And this is basically with what my sculpture is about. So I work with wax and bring the pieces to the foundry to be able to be casted in bronze. But everything that is organic can be part of a sculpture. So in this case, you have some twigs and you have some feathers and leaves that they are cast in the sculpture.
Hello, I'm Celeste Le St, and I'm a poet and dancer, and I've been hopscotching on several iterations. And I'm actually standing in front of a piece that we took it out in the yards and the beach and started dancing and hopscotching and integrated poetry. I often integrate poetry and dance, and I also have several pieces here on top of Jennifer's amazing work, and so I really see poetry and dance as a way of hopscotching through all of the limits and the limitlessness of what it means to be human. So it's really been wonderful to be part of this collaborative show. Thank you so much, and come to the show.
I'm Sally Moore, and I live in Boston, and I'm part of the Boston Sculptors Gallery. And these pieces, this piece is a much older piece, but I am still working with the figure, and a lot of my figures tend to be teetering or off balance somehow, trying to catch themselves. And this piece, these figures are discovering that, well, maybe this cage isn't actually there. And they're leaning right through it, and yet at the same time it's a bit of a conundrum because what's holding them up if the cage isn't there. This piece, I started experimenting with crumpled paper bag over wire, and it's really more of an experiment. The little butterfly is plastic. And then I have a piece over here. This piece is called Spiral, and it's from a series of dancers who are on top of poles, and they have nowhere to take their next step. And a lot of the dancers in the series have environmental debris caught in their bodies. So it tends to be about how human beings are these elegant, intelligent, creative creatures, and yet we get ourselves stuck into untenable positions.
My name is Marsha Nuritza Odebakshian, and I am one of the co-founders of Hopscotch, along with Jennifer and Nancy and Celeste. And I started working on hopscotch, the idea of hopscotch, many, many years ago when I was in an MFA program. And at that time I was interested in the idea of hopscotch because I was interested in, I was working with children, and I was interested in themes that would, that had to do with girls being strong and active. And hopscotch was something that I remembered playing when I was a little kid, and you know, and how liberating it is. Okay, started working with onion skin dye as part of a series that related to my Armenian heritage. And these pieces came a little bit after that, but I was interested in working in with transparency. I wanted to explore transparency more, and we had already started working on Hopscotch, and I thought the idea of cutting the paper into not quite squares, but something along those lines where you would go into the composition and you would sort of like hop to one space, from one space to the other, and you can see that pretty much in each of them. This piece is called Eggshell Palace, and I was very definitely interested in the idea of power and the space leading up to what could possibly be power, and especially where it's a palace. And then this one is called The Thread, and I was interested in using materials that were typically used by women. Like my mother used to sew a lot, and so it's just no surprise that thread got into the work. And then I'm also interested in medieval manuscripts and folklore, folk tales, and I have been reading a lot about Armenian folk tales lately and realizing the relationship between animals and people that goes all the way back from just about the beginning of time. And then this piece is a rabbit saved, and it's being saved by another creature, a bird. So I'm interested in these interspecies. Can't say it, but anyway, interspecies. And then again, you see the hopscotch squares, and the same with this one. It's a conversation with rabbits.
I'm Jennifer Gino Gamura, and I want to welcome you guys again to the Notion of Play and what's Hopscotch. And I am one of the co-founders too of this amazing exhibition that just keeps evolving. And what we really, when we thought about the show too, it was meant to be just like play is, like it's meant to be the idea of having performers and mixing media and this idea of really, no matter where you are, you can play hopscotch. And there's the only time that we're ever truly unified is the fact that when we're performing and we're on stage. And so we're going to be having an amazing performance that's going to be happening soon. But and so these pieces here, they kind of follow hopscotch with the eight different squares, and it's the beginning of how hopscotch began during Cleopatra time, all the way through. It's the idea that it was also used for soldiers. It was a way of training them. And what's great is that this piece is interactive. You can tell it's split up to four, and the curators of the show really had fun because there's four down here, and you can hopscotch and go all the way down to see the four over here. And it really is the idea of connecting yourself with, like Tere is land. It's the idea, the words that are in all of these pieces are the words of by our poets and performers, Celeste and Nancy, and they're just incredible. So these pieces really collaborate, four different minds that are having fun with play and materials, and the idea that art should be interactive. It should be fun. It should be touched. It should be moved. You should run around it. And a lot of the works that are in this, you see that. You see the words on top of the paintings. You see the bronze sculptures. You see the video where she's actually dancing, and she's literally in British Columbia and have traveled all over the place. And we are so excited to see where Hopscotch goes. And so thank you guys. In our next rendition, we will be in New York, and then we will also be at the Art Complex too. So continue to follow us and follow these wonderful women. And thank you.
Beyond. You cannot measure every creative moment, what will bring fruition. A life of creativity is beyond measure. To create is the transport. One must walk every day, even for a small time, over a life, then one can measure, but for now, live, create, play. There are enough other tasks one can measure. The fragments are written on our skin, in our bodies. We know this as artists, dancers, poets, although epigenetics has now figured it out. Fragments of beauty and difficulty dance together. Fragments can hold a world.
Rub a rock on the driveway to draw a rough line, like a magic trick. Who taught me this? Toss the stone as far as you think you can arrive on 1 foot, as far as I can remember. Hop to the square, pick up the rock, turn around, and bring it home. Home? While balancing on your sneaker, or bare toes? Armenian mill workers didn't carry the NG digraph while laboring, grinding, wiring, whiting. Instead, there was a G that sounded like a K, like Johnny, dear one. So the G fell out. G like genocide, G like greed, G like grief. That's not really true. Colonel Paul Whiting, who founded a cotton mill, dropped the G for some reason when he married his boss's wife, a gal named Fletcher. They lived in South Northbridge, south of the bridge or north of the bridge, or somewhere in the length of the G, along a river that drew workers from far away, long before confusion and questions would rule their lives, like the G in Groom, like the crane, longing for home, singing, singing, singing.
And a thousand violins we bring to bear, or it might be the sound of your hello, that music I hear. I get misty the moment you're near. Cause we're living in a world of foes, breaking us down when they won't should let us be. We belong to you and me. I believe in you. We look for love, no time for tears. Wasted water's all that is. It don't make no flowers grow. Good things might come to those who wait, not for those who wait too late. We gotta go for all we know, just the two of us. We can make it if we try, just the two of us, just the two of us, just the two of us, building castles in the sky, just the two of us, you and I.